Hello everyone. Let us see 6 different methods to select hair in Photoshop. So let us start. These are some of the popular hair selection methods in Photoshop. The background eraser tool, channels, refinage, select and mask, color range, refine hair. So some of these popular methods can select the hair perfectly. There are also some of the very old methods of selecting the hair, but we are not going to discuss those things here. We will select hair perfectly with these methods. So first is background eraser tool. So let us see how we can select the hair perfectly with background eraser tool. Here we have a subject with a white color background, and we also have a layer below the active layer, the subject layer, a yellow background. So now we will select the background eraser tool. The keyboard shortcut for background eraser tool is E. Right. First we will see what are the options available for background eraser tool. So here we can see the options for background eraser tool. So the first option is sampling, continuous. So what it will do is it will pick the color or sample the color continuously. So no matter what color is in the background, it will continuously sample that color and remove the background. It's alright, it can do a good job for some images, but this is not a perfect option for most of the images. So the next one is, this is the best one actually. This is sampling once. So what we can do with this option is, we are going to sample this background color once, and it will remember that color, and wherever that color appears, it will erase it. So this is the best option. And the last one is, it will sample the background swatch. Whatever color you take in the background color, it will pick that color and it will erase that color. Right, we don't use this option that much. The most of the time we use the second one. This is sampling once. So we are going to select this sampling once. Right, and then here we have limits. So in limits we have an option discontiguous, and the next one is contiguous, and the third one is find edges. So with this image we will understand what is discontiguous, contiguous and find edges. So here we have an image of alternating colors, yellow and then red and then yellow then red, and we also have the icon for background eraser. This icon has a plus symbol in the middle, which is the crosshair. So this crosshair will pick a particular color, say for example red. If the red is appearing in any other part of this image, even that red will be erased. Means here the two red color rectangles are separated by a yellow color. So if you keep the option discontiguous, the discontiguous option will ignore the yellow color and it will erase the two red colors. So even though the red colors are separated by this yellow color boundary or yellow color border, so it will ignore the yellow border and erase the two red colors. So now let me demonstrate. So see here, the red is erased completely. So the crosshair has picked the red color on the right side, and it has also erased the red color that is separated by this yellow color on the left side. So this is how this contiguous works. Now let us see contiguous. The contiguous will give respect to the division, to the border. So it will only erase that particular color which is picked up by the crosshair. So it means it will not remove the red color on this left side if at all I pick the red color on the right side. So here the option is contiguous. So now let me demonstrate. See, even though the radius is covering the red color which is on the left side, it is not getting erased because it is divided by this yellow border. It is separated by this yellow border, and only the color which is picked by the crosshair, it is removed. And if you want to erase this, we have to do it separately again. So again we have to pick this color and then we have to erase. So means I have to use this option 2 times to remove the red color with the contiguous option. With the discontiguous, we can continuously erase the colors that fall within the radius of this icon, background eraser icon. So now we will practically use this method, these methods, to perfectly select the hair. We have one last option here, that is find edges. It is similar to contiguous, but this will only be useful when we have definite edges, not like hairs, but a definite sharp edges. One option we also need to know, that is tolerance. So here the tolerance value is 31%. So what tolerance will do is, tolerance will select a particular shade of color depending on the value that we mention here. So for example, if there is red color in the background and there is also light red and dark red colors in the background, so if you increase the tolerance value, both the red color and the light red color and all the shades of red color will be selected, whether they are dark or light. But if you reduce the tolerance, only a particular or a specific shades of red color will be selected. So as you keep increasing the tolerance value, more and more color in the background will be selected. As you keep decreasing the tolerance value, less and less color will be selected. So that is the idea of tolerance, right? So now we will start using these options and we will be selecting the hair, right? So what we are supposed to do is, see, even though here plenty of options are there, we will be selecting this sampling once option, and then here we will keep the limits as discontiguous, and we will also try to increase the tolerance level. So let me keep it to 45 or 46. Okay, 45 is okay. And now we can also increase or decrease the icon size by using left square bracket and right square bracket, or you can also right click and here you can increase or decrease the size of the icon, background eraser icon, right? So now we are all done with the settings. Let's start erasing the background. So just click once and we can see the instant changes. And I'm not releasing my mouse, because when I release the mouse, it will start sampling again and it will start sampling another color. Right, now I am releasing the mouse. Right, now I want to remove the this white background on the right side. We can reduce the size of the icon. So that's it. So just carefully let's remove the background. So if we just remove it outside or remove the colors outside the subject, that's enough. And we want a perfect selection near her hair. That is our idea actually. Right. So now all you have to do is just simply keep removing the color that is a little bit away from the subject. Right. That's it. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. So we have quickly finished the job. Now let's put a black background below this subject layer. And let us see whether we have any issues. So just select black as the foreground and we'll fill the background with black. Right. So we can see some issues here. See, we can see some fringes, the white color fringes. So this is one big problem when we are doing hair selections. We also have to remove those fringes. So how we can remove those fringes? So now we will see. It's very easy. We have to create a new layer above the subject layer. And we will click this empty layer to this subject layer. So for that we have to use Alt and simply click in between these two layers. That's it. Now this empty layer is clipped to the subject layer, means whatever you do in this empty layer, it will remain confined to the subject. It will only appear on the subject. Let's fix these issues. So we'll remove these fringes. So all you have to do is simply select the soft rounded brush, just sample this area, and here we'll keep darken blend mode, and also we'll select this empty layer. And we'll just Alt and click to sample this area, and then we'll just paint on it. So here we can remove the fringes in this way. Right. So we'll do the same thing on the right side. Just we'll sample the color actually. Right. So once you have done with this, so what we can do is we can actually slightly reduce the opacity if you think the color is too dark. So we can keep it somewhere around 65% or 67%. Right. And then now we will actually do compositing. We will put a background of some buildings behind this subject. So here we have this background. So we'll just drag it and we'll just keep it behind this subject. So now we can see. So here we have completed hair selection with background eraser tool. Now we will move on to the next method of selecting the hair. Channels. So we can open the channels panel from Windows. So from Windows menu, we can just select the channels and the channels panel will be on your screen. So this is another best method to select hairs. And I have taken a different image. We can also use the previous image with the channels, but let's try with different images. That's a good idea actually. Right. So first we will understand the concept of channels. So in the channels panel we can see RGB, red, green, blue. So what is the meaning of these all channels actually, and what exactly happens if we select an individual channel? See, when you select RGB, all the channels are selected. RGB indicates all colors, means our image has basically the three main colors: red, green and blue. These three are the main colors, right? And we can see these individual red, green and blue colors. So when you select the red color, there is brightness in the image. The image is a little bit bright. When you select the green, it's not that bright and it is a little bit dark. And when you select blue, it is even darker. So what we can understand by this? See, when you select red color, there is a white color on her face. So it means that the reddishness is on her face. There is some amount of red color on her face. This is the reason why her face is a little bit white. And if we select green color, it is not that white. There is a very little percentage of white, but that is not visible. So that is why compared to the red channel, green channel is a little bit dark. So whatever colors are not present, they are represented by black color. And when you select the blue channel, the image is very dark. So there is no blue in the image at all. So this is the reason why the image is very dark when you select the blue channel. Right. So how we can use these channels to actually select the hair? See, first thing is we have to check the image. The image is having a dark brownish hair. The subject is having dark brownish hair. So because the subject is having dark brownish hair, we have to select some dark channel. So the dark channel over here is the blue channel, because compared to the red and green, blue is very dark. So we will pick the blue channel. Then after picking the blue channel, we have to apply contrast to the image. But let us not damage the original channel. If you spoil the blue channel, if you do some editing on the blue channel, the image may get spoiled. So what we'll do is we'll duplicate the blue channel. To duplicate the blue channel, we will just drag this blue channel over this create new channel icon. Simply drag this blue channel over this create new channel icon, and we can see here blue copy. Right. Now we will apply contrast to the image. So to apply contrast to the image, we will use levels adjustment. So we can go to image adjustments and we will select levels. So in levels adjustment dialog, we can see these three sliders. The left slider represents the shadows. So if you move the left slider, the image is becoming a little bit dark. And the right slider represents the highlights. So if you move the right slider to the left, the image is becoming brighter. And the center slider is midtones. So if you try to move this left or right, the midtones are going to be affected, and the midtones are going to become either too bright or too dark. So something like this. So we have to just adjust these sliders so that the image is a little bit dark. It means the image has some contrast. The bright areas in the image are a little bit bright. The dark areas in the image are a little bit dark. Right. So once we are done with this, we'll just simply click OK. Now we will select this channel thumbnail by holding Control and clicking on this thumbnail. Right. So we got a selection. So once we got a selection, we will go back to our layers panel. So in the layers panel, we will simply click on the mask icon. We'll click on the mask icon. And once you click on the mask icon, you can see a mask thumbnail is created adjacent to the image thumbnail. And also we can see the image is not clear. So what we have to do is we'll invert the mask. So we will simply hit Ctrl+I. Right. Now what we can do is we have to first get back the image. See, we lost some of the important details of the image. Her face is not visible. Also her body is also not visible. So we have to fix this. So to fix this, we have to go inside the mask. So how we can go inside the mask? We'll simply hold Alt on the keyboard and click on this mask thumbnail. Now we have entered inside the mask. Right. We can see the alpha channel of this image. So we need to bring back the original image. So what we can do is, see, first we have to understand here, we don't want the background. We want the background to be black and we want the subject to be white. So we have to paint white over the subject. So what we can do is we'll simply select the brush. We'll select soft rounded brush and we will paint over the subject. And we have to paint with white color. That's it. So once we have painted white color over the subject, we'll come out of the mask simply by holding Alt and clicking on the mask thumbnail. Right. Now we can see we got back the image. And the next task we have to do is we have to paint black over the background. So to paint black over the background, once again we'll go inside the mask. Simply hold Alt and click on the mask thumbnail. Right. And this time we will select black as the foreground color. And then we will start painting over the background. And we are going to face one problem here. See, when I am painting a little bit away from the subject, it's alright, but when I come close to the hairs of the subject, see what's happening? We are losing the hairs. So in order to prevent this, we have to do something. So what we can do is we have to simply change the blending mode to overlay for the brush. Simply select overlay here. So what overlay will do is it will remove the gray areas or the gray colors, but it will have no effect on pure black or pure white. So just we can observe this. See, we are not losing the hair. And we are painting the entire background with black. So overlay blend mode only removes gray colors. It has no effect on black or white, pure black or pure white colors. So this is how we are supposed to paint. Now again we will come out of the mask. Simply hold Alt and click on this mask thumbnail. Right. Like in the previous image, we have to fix the fringes. We have to remove the fringes. So let us see whether we got any fringes or not. So see here, we can see a lot of fringes, the white fringes. So we'll remove them. So we'll use the same technique that we have used in the background eraser example. So what we'll do is we'll create a layer above the subject layer and make this layer as a clipping mask, and we will use the darken blend mode, and then we'll select the brush, we will select the soft rounded brush, and we will sample the colors of hair which is near the fringes. So simply alt and click over here, and then we'll start painting. Try to sample colors near the fringes, colors of hair near the fringes. So we can zoom and do. Right, we'll do on the left side. Right. So we have fixed the fringes, and now we'll do the same thing. We'll do the compositing. So we'll just get a different background. So we'll get this background, and then we'll keep it behind this girl. Just drag it behind the girl's layer or the subject layer. You can see here, and we can reduce the darkness on the hairs simply by reducing the opacity. If we don't like too much darkness. Right. So this is the channels method of selecting hairs. Now we'll move on to the next hair selection method. With every new version of Photoshop, simple and easy methods to select hair are introduced. Now we are going to see the simplest method to select hair. So that is select and mask. So where we can find this option? So if we go to the select menu, we can find this select and mask. You also have a shortcut Alt Control plus R. Just click on this option. So after clicking on this option, we can see a plenty of options here on the left side as well as on the right side. On top we can find some option, that is select subject. Just click on that select subject. So it has selected the subject, and on the right side we have some more options, and we can just select this object aware option, and then we will scroll down and we will find this decontaminate colors. Just click on that. And then what we'll do is we will select new layer with layer mask. Output 2. In the output 2 category, we'll select new layer with layer mask and simply click OK. See, Photoshop has done an instant job. So we will check by compositing a background behind this subject. So we'll just scale it down. We'll drag the background behind the subject, and we can see we got instant result, and within no time we have done a perfect hair selection. This will save a lot of our time. We can also check whether we got any fringes. In case we got some fringes, we already have seen how to remove those fringes. Right, we can't see too many fringes, it's alright, but in case we see any fringes, we can use the same technique like we have seen in background eraser and the channels method. See how quickly we have selected the subject. And if you want a little bit extra contrast on her hairs, we can just duplicate this image. And now we can see her hairs are a little bit dark. In the latest versions of Photoshop, there is a feature called Refine Hair. Just with one click, we can select the hair. So let us see how we can access that option. So we'll go to the select menu and we'll select and mask, and we'll click on select subject. So the subject is selected, and then we have an option refine hair. Just click on that refine hair. So it has done the job for us. So we can actually select the output 2 as layer mask and just click OK. So see, we can see it has done the job for us very fast. And in case you think you can fine tune the hair selection, you can do it just by removing the fringes, or you can also just go inside the mask here just by alt and clicking on the mask thumbnail, and in case we think there are some black areas inside the subject, we can paint white over them. So just like this. That's it. And once again we'll come out of the mask. That's it. And if you want to add some contrast, just you duplicate this layer, and we can select a darken or a multiply or overlay blend mode here. Right. If you want a darker hair, this is optional actually. We'll keep normal. So this is an option that is available in the latest versions of Photoshop like 2021 and 2022. A very fast and very simple way of selecting the hairs, refine hair. The older cousin of select and mask is refine edge. So how we can access refine edge? We'll simply go to the select menu, and first we will select the subject. Here we have the option select subject. So we'll get a selection around the subject. Now we'll go to the select menu again, and instead of directly clicking on select and mask, we will hold shift and click. So if you hold shift and click, a dialog box pops up that is refine edge dialog. It is visible in the older versions of Photoshop, but in the latest versions of Photoshop you have to hold shift and select the select and mask. Then you will be opening this refine edge dialog. So there are plenty of options in this refine edge dialog, but what we'll do is we'll just see some of the important options here with which we can do perfect hair selection. So here we have edge detection, and here we have smart radius. We'll turn on the smart radius and we'll slightly increase the radius here, and we can see the changes. Right, and below the radius here we have some options, and we don't have to change any of these. We can slightly adjust them if we want, but we will leave them to their defaults. And below this adjust edge section, here we have the output, and we'll just turn on this decontaminate colors, and we can keep the amount to 50. Okay, this is the default amount, and here we will select output to as new layer with layer mask. But one change we will do, that is here when you turn on the smart radius, see here we can find a brush. We will just paint around her hair. Just we will paint around her hair. That's it. So we got some result, and then now we will try to change some of these values. Let's see what will happen if we try to increase the contrast. So we can see the change, and if we try to change this shift edge, see, we can get some changes, something like this. Right, and then just we will click OK. See, this is also a very simple and easy solution for hair selections, and we can also go inside the mask simply by holding Alt and clicking on this mask thumbnail, and we can see some of the places inside this mask. We can see here there is some black, so we have to remove that black. Inside the subject the color has to be white, so we will select the brush, we will select the soft rounded brush and make sure that the foreground color is white, and we will paint white over here. See, as you paint white, it will be clear. There won't be any transparency inside the subject. Right, now again we will come out of the subject. That's it. So this is refine edge. This is an older cousin of select and mask. So the last and final way of selecting hairs is by using color range. So color range is useful if you have a plain background. Here in this image there is a plain green color behind the subject. So for such images color range is the best option. So let's go to the select menu and open the color range dialog. So here we can see different options here. Here we can see this fuzziness, and here we can also see the eyedroppers, and we will turn off this invert here. And what is fuzziness? Fuzziness is similar to tolerance. If you increase the fuzziness, see, we can see a more and more area is selected, and we are also trying to select the subject. So we don't want that. So first we have to tell the Photoshop that we are trying to pick a particular color. So we are trying to pick a color by using this eyedropper. We are trying to pick this color behind the subject. Right, we have picked the color, and now we will just reduce the fuzziness value. See, something like this. And the most important thing to remember is subject should always be in white color and the background should always be in black color, because we don't need the background, we need the subject. So what we have to do is we will invert just by clicking on this invert option. Now it's correct. And then what we'll do is we will simply click OK. And then we will apply a mask. Just at the bottom of the layers panel we have a mask icon. So that's it. And then we have to fine tune the selection just by holding Alt and clicking on the mask thumbnail. We'll be entering inside the mask, and here we can see some issues, so we have to fix them. So we want the background to be completely black. So what we'll do is we will select the overlay blend mode, and then we will keep the foreground as black and we will paint black. Right, and also check whether there is any black inside the subject. The subject has to be in white. Right, so we'll come out of the mask. Right, and we'll try to composite our image in front of a background. So simply drag this background and scale it down. And keep it behind the subject. Right. So this is a quick and easy way of selecting hairs, but this is helpful if we have a plain colors in the background. Just we will fix the fringes in case we think we have any issues. Just we will take a new layer here. I will clip it to the subject layer, and then we'll select the brush. We'll remove the overlay to normal, and then we'll try to sample the hair color, and then we'll fix wherever we find the fringes. We will fix. That's it. That's it, and we'll keep the blend mode as darken. So that's it. So these are the 6 methods of hair selection. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Please do subscribe, like, share, and if you have anything to say, do comment. See you again.